Working on the welding today. These are welded. This set's pretty dang hot. I actually rigged up a fan just hanging there to help cool them down just a little bit faster. What I'm doing is I rounded up. This is the sleeve for the urethane bushing for those shocks, and I'm just snugging it down a bit, making sure that I found out that I was snugging it down a little too tight. I might have to spread those just a hair, but the welding on the outside, I'm not going all the way because I need, like I mentioned once before, I need the clearance for the socket, okay? And I don't want it to get high enough that I have to go back and touch it back up and regrind it or machine it for the bolt clearance. So when you see how much welding I've got on the bottom there, these things aren't coming out, okay? The welding on the top is almost cosmetic at this point. So I'm just welding there. That'll help with the tire. When they get painted, powder coated, whatever, by the customer, not me, you know, that gap will get filled in. So the bolt is going on just to make sure that none of the welding stuff lets them expand out. Because the first one I did a test on, it pulled out quite a bit, and that was a scrap part anyway. But when they started to cool, I found out that the nuts were loose even after I snugged them. So it must be pulling in a little bit. I don't have enough of these spacers, and I don't feel like going and making 5 more of them. So I'm checking them to make sure that, you know, the space is there to start with, and then just giving them a little snug just to make sure they can't walk out. If they walk in, not a whole lot I can do about that. It's probably the weld in the middle that is causing it to bow a little bit. I'm not sure. So I'm going to prep 3 sets, weld 3 sets, and then they sit over here and cool down. That's a pan of water so that when I come back and after they've cooled a little bit, the 3rd set of bolts is still pretty damn hot. So I cool it off in there so that then I can prep 3 more sets of arms. Okay, let's see. So I've just got them stacked up there waiting. Then they come over here and I do the welding. And so normally when I get ready to weld again, I'll run a hair bit of wire up so the gas comes back up the tube, and that way I got a nice clean sharp edge there to strike an arc with. Okay, swap out another sweat. I think that pretty much covers all this until I start welding the bottom plate. What I need to figure out is exactly where this tension control rod mount goes. And I'll show you here in a second how I normally did it. I'm going to still do it that way, but I want to take a little bit more of the guesswork out of the way. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but there is a lean to this, and that's where I got this lean. So anywho, what I am I like that. Right about there. So it hangs the edge over here a little bit, and I'm pretty sure it needs to come back this way, lengthwise, you know, with the way the one on the frame jig right now looks. This is the shock mount thing that I used the first time while I was designing these, because that holds the arm. So the measurement from between the bushings to the center of the bolt hole matches the coilover shock with 1 inch there's 3 inches of travel, so I did 1 inch of compression. That way it's got 2 inches of compression and 1 inch of rebound. So that's what that matches. Okay, then I have it in there with a sun bolt, and I have a sleeve on it, so it is actually tightened down. I've got this end of the tension control rod snugged down pretty good against the bushings, so that it should be pretty close to, you know, where they're squished for, you know, normal use. Same thing back here. Okay, now granted, the weight of this, if I lift that up to there, that puts it pretty darn close. So the reality is if this plate moved 1/8 of an inch, that would move this 1/8 of an inch. No big deal. I do like the fact that I'm not overhanging the hole hardly any here. So I think if I mount them up, this gives me the distance. That end I don't plan on taking off. This end will have to come off and on, because as soon as I tack it in place, I got to remove the sun bolt, drop the arm off in order to get this out of here. I could just mark it and then try to hold this on the bench, but any change in the angle here, it will be better to do it this way, because then that angle is perfect for, you know, where it's supposed to be at that point. And I'm basically going to have to do this on every single, all 14 of the lefts, and then do all the rights. MIG welding outside. The gas blows away, so I need a wind block. And I set up my welding canvas, tarp, blanket, whatever, that I use inside to protect the equipment. But it turns out that the wind's coming in from the one side I couldn't get that into. So I don't know if it'll show up here. Let's see. I might have to shoot it from a different angle, but yeah, I think you can probably see how well that's moving in the air. Yeah, I think that just might work. Right. That's a box my wife's been saving for something, and I just clipped it onto the hand truck. That ought to work pretty nice. So. I'm gonna make it flush with the bottom, but this is a case where it's changes in the hole there because the plates are not perfectly centered each time. Now, there's no way to get this out of there without taking the sun bolt out. There we go. Yeah, it's got some good healthy tacks on it, so now I'll be able to just do all the final welding inside. I think this once I do the final welding, that should be it. Oh, I got a couple of things here. I'll talk about those later, but that's basically the last of the fabrication on these arms. Seems like a whole lot of prep for that tiny little bit. Anyway, I think that's enough footage.